Welcome to the Urban Assembly Virtual College Fair. Thank you for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of many different sessions happening, so please be sure to sign up for more. This presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at strivescan.com/urbanassembly. And just a note on the format of today's session, we have 45 minutes and you will hear from 6 different institutions. And now I would like to turn it over to our presenters. And first up is CUNY Hunter College.
Hi, thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here and I'm happy to meet all of you. My name is Ann Lanza. I'm one of the admissions counselors at Hunter College. I've been with Hunter for about 2 years now, and before that, I worked at Queensborough Community College, and I was also a community college student previously, and I graduated from University at Buffalo with a degree in English literature. So to give you a brief overview about Hunter, we're located on East 68th Street and Lexington Avenue in the Upper East Side, about 4 blocks away from Central Park. I think my favorite thing about Hunter is that we have our own train station, even though I haven't used it in well over a year. But when we are pre-COVID and after COVID, the 6 train goes right into the campus. So if you don't like the weather, if it's too sunny or if it's raining or if it's snowing, you know, bad New York City weather, you don't have to go back outside again because our 6 train goes into the middle of the campus. There's escalators that go up into the buildings and we are connected by a couple of sky bridges. So that's probably my favorite thing about Hunter. So for our most popular majors, we do have 70 majors, but we do have popular majors with nursing, education, social work. Pre-med is also a very popular track, and pre-law is also pretty big at Hunter. Computer science is the second biggest major at Hunter College as well. So we have a few different things that you can choose from. You'll hear from other CUNY schools, and CUNY schools kind of have their own specialty, sort of, although we do have very similar majors to each other. And one of the biggest questions I get is what makes Hunter stand out from other CUNY schools and other CUNY schools vice versa. I think Hunter is great with nursing and community, like giving back to the community sort of based majors, although we do have fantastic majors and a lot of different liberal arts and sciences sort of majors. But it depends on what you're kind of looking for in a career later on, in a way. Like CUNY John Jay, for example, has psychology. We have psychology, but they have a specialization in forensic psychology. We don't have that. We have childhood development. We have clinical and mental health counseling. So there's a couple of different differences depending on what you're looking for exactly. But a comprehensive list I could give in the chat so you could take a look at what kind of majors we do have. In terms of support services, if we're opportunity programs first, we do have SEEK, which is the equivalent to EOP and HEOP for SUNY and private schools. The 2-year school equivalent is College Discovery if you decided you wanted to get your associate's degree first. If you graduate with an associate's degree in College Discovery, you can transfer into Hunter College in SEEK, or you can apply to us and get into SEEK if that's something that you would like to do. Other programs we have are the Macaulay Honors Program, and we have the Freshman Scholars Program as well, along with general admissions. The Macaulay Honors Program is probably the biggest honors program within the CUNY system. You can get a full ride of tuition for 4 years. You get your first year of residence hall for free. So you're with the Brookdale Residence Hall, which is about 15 minutes away from the campus by train, and you have your own honors advisor, you have priority course registration. So there's a few different perks with that. Although if you apply for that, you can also apply for the Freshman Scholars Program at Hunter College. Same exact sort of perks, except the tuition is not a full ride and it changes every year. So it may change again by the time you're ready to apply for us. And that is on our Hunter website specifically. So I'll give a link in the chat for all of those and how to apply for general admissions, the Freshman Scholars Program, and for the Macaulay Honors Program as well. For the admissions requirements, CUNY hasn't said anything about becoming test optional by the time you all may apply. So right now for current seniors in high school, we were test blind, but it may change in the future. I don't know yet, but so far We are going to require the high school transcript, the SAT or ACT, or both if you're so inclined. We also super score if you decide to take it a couple of times, and a personal statement. And those are the bare minimums for the admissions requirements. But we will also take a look at your recommendation letters and any extracurricular activities you may have been doing. So all of that will be taken into consideration for your application. For the Macaulay Honors application, they will ask for 2 essays and 2 recommendation letters and a character reference letter, and I'll link that in the chat as well, just so you're familiar with that. The tuition is about $7,300 per year, and it's broken down per semester. It's probably about, I can't do math in my head, but about $3,200 per semester, give or take. And most students do receive financial aid at Hunter College. So just to give you a brief overview with that, and I'll give you my email and full name in the chat as well if you have any questions in the future. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Our next presentation is from Columbia University.
All right. Hello, everyone. I hope you are all doing well. My name is Naomi Varnas. I use the pronouns she, her, and hers, and I'm a senior admissions officer here at Columbia. I'm joined by my colleague, Zarina Hutchins, who is in the chat also supporting answering your questions. We are Columbia University in the city of New York, located just northwest of Central Park, so on the other side from Ann at Hunter. I always like to point out that Manhattan means the island of many hills in the language of the Lenni Lenape people, and is part of the ancestral and traditional homeland of the Lenni Lenape and Wappinger people, who are still active members of our community throughout New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. So when you're thinking about Columbia, like I said, we are in the northwest portion of Manhattan. And when you're considering our undergraduate community, you're thinking about a group of about 6,000 students who are between Columbia College and Columbia Engineering. Those students have the option to participate in over 100 programs of study, with about 80 plus of those programs of study being located in our college, which has our which is our traditional liberal arts school, and 16 majors in our engineering school. And when you're also considering that undergraduate community, I also really like to point out that our student body and its diversity really reflects that of our city and hopefully our world, where over half of our students identify as students of color. About 18% of them are the first in their family to go to college. About 16% are from abroad. And the vast majority of our students are living on campus. All of our first years are required to live on campus, and students typically stay in on-campus housing throughout their time at Columbia. Now, when you're thinking about your education at Columbia, one of the central things that I like to point students to is the core curriculum. The core curriculum is now over 100 years old and is a way of organizing what we understand as the liberal arts. So it brings together students in small classrooms, usually capped at about 20 to 23 students, to discuss kind of classic texts, be it the Odyssey by Homer or the Song of Solomon by Toni Morrison, and to really engage deeply with different ideas, to get into disagreements, to have discussions, and to understand what the role of their education is beyond their individual major. So you may be a chemistry major sitting next to a biomedical engineering major, sitting next to an art major, and that kind of discussion with the different backgrounds that each student brings to the table is really critical for how we understand education at Columbia. Like I mentioned, we do have an engineering school, and the way that the core kind of manifests for our engineers is with engineering for humanity. And the idea there is that while you are receiving kind of the technical skills that you'll need to be an effective engineer, you're also being asked to think about how you are serving humanity, whether it's creativity, or thinking about sustainability or health. How are you applying your skills to the betterment of society? And when you're in those classrooms, you really are being taught by faculty members who are at the top of their field, whether it's the person at the bottom, his name is Mike Massimino, who's a Columbia alum and teaches in the mechanical engineering department. He's also the first person to tweet from space, or you're learning from Farrah Griffin, who is the chair of our African American Studies department. You really get the opportunity to connect with faculty members who are not only thinking about how you're performing in the classroom, but really what your journey will be academically. A part of that is research, and we do about $1 billion, a billion with a B, dollars worth of research each year, and it's really dependent on undergraduates to be part of that research. And faculty members like Gordana Vaniak-Novakovic, who's that other person photographed here, it continues to include undergraduates in her lab each year as she builds human bone and heart tissue from scratch. But really, when we're thinking about the community at Columbia, we're thinking of a lot of different types of communities. We have over 500 student clubs and organizations, and those run from the organizations that are focused on helping you learn how to dance or figuring out how you like to knit, or working with students who may share similar identities. We have one of the oldest Black students organizations outside of a historically Black college or university. Or you could be thinking about other folks who share your identities as part of the First Gen Low Income Partnership, or FLIP. One of the other things that I really like to point out about how students engage with their time at Columbia is that being in New York City is really critical to us. Students will explore museums, and they'll also explore professionally. So about 95% of our students will graduate having done at least one internship, and really lean on resources like Lion Share for positions to be made available to them and for the support of our Center for Career Education. Now, one of the things that I always really like to think about and to encourage you to think about is affording an institution like Columbia. I know there can be a lot of sticker shock, but some of the things to consider as you're looking at the full cost of attendance and you're thinking about financial aid is that we do not package loans in our financial aid packages. It's all grant money, which is money that you don't need to pay back to us. We meet 100% of demonstrated need. And then beyond kind of that initial financial aid letter, there are a lot of ways that Columbia is made more affordable, whether it's through free laundry at our residence halls or the opportunity to stay on meal plans or stay in housing all 4 years, which is included in your financial aid package. I'll also take this time to mention that we are an HEOP school. When you're considering being a New York State resident, applying to Columbia and hoping to be considered for HEOP, you'll still apply using the same platforms, be it the Coalition application, the QuestBridge application, or the Common application, and we will evaluate all students for the potential to be included in HEOP. And with that, I will wrap it up to pass it on to my next colleague, and I'm really excited to be able to respond to some of your questions in the chat.
Excellent, thanks very much. Next up is Lafayette College.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much to all my colleagues who went first and set the stage for us. My name is Christina Usino, and I'm one of the directors of admissions at Lafayette College. I'm also the director of multicultural recruitment, student access, and student success, and I can talk a little bit more about that as we dive in. But since we have 6 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and start my timer just to make sure that I stay on time and get all the information that we need to share with you today. So Lafayette College is a small private liberal arts college located in Easton, Pennsylvania. So an hour and 20 minutes away from Manhattan and an hour and a half from Philadelphia. We are a jump, hop, and a skip away from New Jersey, literally. And what is important to know about where Lafayette is located, it's really beautiful, it's idyllic, it's on top of College Hill in Easton. If we had more time, I would actually turn my camera that way and show you the football stadium, and I'm zooming in from home. So I literally live right behind our football stadium in this beautiful neighborhood, and my neighbors are faculty, staff, and students, which is really fun on the weekends with my student neighbors. But it's amazing, I'd have it no other way. But we're also then located within the Lehigh Valley. The Lehigh Valley is one of the fastest growing metropolitan cities in the country right now. So that includes Allentown, Bethlehem, and Easton, which has 6 other colleges and universities that we do a lot of programming and interconnectedness with. So while we're a small private liberal arts college of 2,700 undergrads, you also have this entire sort of complex of other colleges and universities that you can connect with to and from your 4 years here at Lafayette. We do represent 45 states and 59 countries on our hilltop. And what's interesting to note about us and where we're located is just in terms of its proximity to the city. So many of our students are going in and out of the city, whether they're from New York or not, in a really accessible way through downtown Easton. And I'll show you a picture of that a little later on. We are known for engineering here at Lafayette College. Our program is 8th in the nation. And I was really inspired by Columbia University's humanity and engineering, because that is really the pulse here and the culture here of our engineers. Dr. Scott Hummel, who leads our renowned engineering program, always asks our engineers, if you're ready to change the world, become an engineer. They're solving world problems. And again, it can be through many different avenues. But what's so wonderful about doing engineering at a small private liberal arts college is that you never have to be in one lane. And that goes for all of our majors and all of our minors. Our students are at the intersection of their passion. They're never just doing one thing. And so the culture and the vibe here is the majority of our students are double majoring or minoring. And that's very possible, plausible, and again, the most common setup here for our students. So we have scientists and engineers, artists and athletes, researchers and scholars, activists. And here we like to say that we have professor mentors, right? At this residential college, 97% of our students live on campus. We provide housing for 4 years. And like I said, right, like the majority of my neighbors are our community members. And you really feel that here when you're here, that our professors are here to mentor. Professors are here to provide transformational and reparative relationships with our students. And you can really feel that here on our campus. We also have passionate alumni. I think that comes from many different factors of everyone sort of living and being here for 4 years. You kind of really create these wonderful bonds. But I also think it's because we are a Division I athletic program, which often surprises folks because we're the small private liberal arts college, but we do have 23 Division I athletics, and we do provide athletic scholarships. And I think that makes for a really passionate school spirit. We're the Lafayette Leopards. We have one of the longest standing football rivalries in the history of football rivalries. We're on 155 years, playing another school that we won't mention because they're our rival. But it's really beautiful and it creates such a passion for our alum. So what we are is applied liberal arts. So we like to emphasize that application, right? So you can be studying in the 4 academic visions. We have 51 areas of study, but within that, there's this tangibility, there's this application to that. And so examples of that would be one of my dear students, I actually just got done writing a letter of recommendation for him. So he's fresh on my mind. His name is Abby. I recruited him from Brooklyn. And he is here at Lafayette and came in under engineering studies, but he had a love for music. So he was a double major in engineering studies and music. And his dream was to work at Spotify. And so over the summer, he actually secured an internship with Spotify and ended up being able to curate his own sort of musical engineering position at Spotify, self-designed his major here at Lafayette to include musical engineering. And he probably has one of the sweetest spots and gigs ready once he graduates at Spotify to continue to curate music. We also just hired him to do a musical score for one of the videos that we did in communications. So that's that application, right? Dreams become tangible here at Lafayette. We have small student faculty ratio 10:1. Your class average size will be 18. And as I mentioned before, we are a Division I athletic program. We do have over 200 plus organizations for students to join here, anything from affinity to interest to passion to talent. So we have, I'm the advisor to our Women in Color group called NIA. NIA is a Swahili word for purpose. And then we have the STEP team. And that is what really creates a connected community for us. And then where we are is, like I said, we're in the Lehigh Valley. So I wanted to show you a picture of what downtown looks like. I recruit in big cities, so you won't consider us a city, you will consider us a cute little town, but we're definitely not in the middle of nowhere. And there's lively action and everyone is always downtown on the weekends. Definitely please follow us on all of our social media handles as our students do takeovers and you can learn much more. But I'm going to put in the chat my contacts because I have a great relationship with Urban Assembly. And we actually have 6 students from the Urban Assembly umbrellas in our first year and second year class. And I'm actually their mentor. So I have lots to talk to you about. And I'll go ahead and put that in the chat. And I just made it with 6 minutes. I'm going to hand it over to my next colleague.
Great, thank you so much. Next up is Virginia State University.
Good morning, everyone. We will go ahead and get started. I know 6 minutes goes by rather quickly. All right, let's get, there we go. There we go. All right, let me get my timer started so I don't go over time. But my name is Jalen Thomas. I'm one of the admissions counselors at Virginia State University. We're located in Petersburg, Virginia. We're about 30 minutes south of Richmond, 2 hours south of DC, just to give you location. This is a beautiful picture of our campus where students get a chance to have fun, get their education. I have an opportunity of reporting to this gorgeous campus 2 times out of the week again. So let's jump into some quick stats about the university. Student to faculty ratio is 13:1, average class size 20. What this really says is that we're very family oriented. We're not that large of a campus, but we average around 4,000 students. And when you're in your classroom, you definitely feel comfortable. You have an opportunity to build a rapport and relationship with your professor, as well as your classmates. You definitely feel comfortable enough to, to ask questions. If you're struggling with something, you can go directly to your professor. They really want to make sure that you're successful in their classroom. Sometimes they even give out their personal cell phone numbers. So they really do, make themselves available to their students. They know you by your name. You won't be identified by your ID number. So a lot of students thrive in those close, intimate classroom settings, and that's something you can definitely look forward to here at Virginia State University. Now, moving on to the fun part, like I mentioned earlier, students definitely have the opportunity to have a lot of fun. There's always something going on. We have over 90 clubs and organizations that cater to your extracurriculars, acting, singing, dancing, hair, makeup, fashion, all that good stuff. You have the academic side, so you have clubs for your majors, math club, psychology club, the list goes on and on. If you can get a break from one of your practices with one of the orgs, you can definitely support our fellow Trojans. We're Division II, a part of the CIAA Conference, Central Intercollegiate Athletic Association. The games are a lot of fun, filled with a lot of energy. You'll find our woo-woos, which are our cheerleaders, our band, Trojan Explosion. You may even meet your best friend there. You never know. Greek life, they are all active to the Divine Nine. So if you're interested in Greek life, you definitely can take advantage of that. Study abroad programs are happening at the moment, but when travel is back up and running, those will be put back into place. Now, the main reason why we came to school, our academic colleges. We have 6 academic colleges. We won't go over all the majors and minors and concentrations, but we are known for our College of Agriculture. We have a farm about 2 miles away from campus that a lot of students utilize. College of Natural and Health Sciences also uses the farm as well, just to get that hands-on experience for research, projects, whatever the case may be. So Natural and Health Sciences is going to cover your biology and chemistry. Reginald F. Lewis, another awesome program. Reginald F. Lewis, the first Black billionaire and a product of the College of Business, a graduate of Virginia State University. So it's a really challenging program, but it really prepares you. College of Education, another awesome program. I took an education course and almost switched my major because that's how much I enjoyed the course, and the professor and the content that was being taught and how it was taught. They really take an interest in you and they have a passion for what they're doing. College of Engineering and Technology, another hands-on department, always up and moving. A lot of great internships in each of these departments as well, on campus and off campus. College of Humanities and Social Sciences is going to cover your sociology, criminal justice, social work, psychology, and a few other ones. So there's definitely more info on our website, vsu.edu, under the academics tab, to get a list of degree programs, academic catalog, and all of that good stuff. Definitely, do your research, find out what you have a passion for, so that you really enjoy what you're learning once you get to Virginia State. Now, tuition, really straightforward to the point. You have your in-state and out-of-state. The only thing not included in this would be your room and board, which is an additional $10,000. So if you do plan on living on campus for out-of-state, you're looking at between $30,000 and $33,000 for the entire academic school year, and then between $20,000 and $23,000 for in-state for the entire academic school year. I do want to point out this building really quickly in the background, a multi-purpose building, newest building on campus, is home to our Welcome Center, Athletic Department, Mass Communications Department. We have commencement. Megan Stallion has performed here before. There's always something going on. It kind of ties into the fun activities that take place on campus. So definitely many different ways to get involved, and just to kind of tie that back into everything. Now, application process, really quick, really easy, doesn't take long to do. It's free. You can apply through vsu.edu/apply. And we are also on the Black Common App. We are test optional, so that means you can be admitted with just your free application. It doesn't cost us anything, and your transcripts. If you have test scores, you can still submit those to us. I encourage you to take advantage of that. You can still qualify for our merit-based scholarships. So that pretty much covers the application. Quick, essay is optional. It's free. It's free. It's free. And it doesn't take long to do. Averages, we're looking holistically to make sure that you're going to be successful here at Virginia State University. So that's what we are looking for. So students can be accepted with a 2.3, 2.4, and then we have students that are accepted with honors. Speaking of honors, we'll move on to our merit-based scholarships. These are really straightforward. You have requirements for SAT with SAT and ACT scores, and then you have requirements without SAT and ACT scores. So you see 3.0, 3.2, and then without, you have a 3.5 and 3.75. You do have to have that GPA with one of the 3 bullet points, not all 3, but just one in combination with that GPA. They are renewable each academic school year as well. And you don't have to do any additional work. So you're automatically considered for these scholarships when you apply. We look for these requirements in each student that we evaluate. So there's no extra essay or extra application. If you're awarded any of these scholarships as well, you are deemed an honor student and therefore a part of the honors program. I don't know if I mentioned, but they are renewable each academic school year. I do have some contact info down here at the bottom. So if you all have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to answer those, and I'm available for questions at the conclusion of the presentation. Thank you so much, and I think my time is up.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Next up is Stony Brook University.
Hi, everybody. My name is Christina Lafaso. I'm a senior admissions advisor and the EOP coordinator at Stony Brook University. We've worked very closely with urban assembly schools throughout the past few years, just growing, the application pool and growing popularity throughout urban assembly. So I'm excited to be here with you guys. But just to give you a little bit of background, Stony Brook University is a SUNY institution. So we are a public university throughout the state of New York. Much like CUNY, it does provide a very affordable education for New York State residents, even for out-of-state residents. Our college was founded in 1957 and grew to the current university status that it is. We're a mid-sized school, not just in regards to our campus size, but also in regards to the amount of students. So we're about 18,000 undergraduate students at the moment, almost 27,000 total with our graduate and doctorate students. So you're going to be in great company if you choose to become a Seawolf. Our campus itself is located on the North Shore of Long Island, so it is quite accessible for those students that are coming out from the city. It gives you that really nice going away to school experience without an 8-hour car ride or a plane ticket or some sort of major plan in order to get home. But it does allow you to feel like you are away to school. But we do have a Long Island Railroad train station right on our campus, which makes it really accessible, but you can also drive out, you can take public transportation in different ways. And then getting around our campus, we have our own campus bus system, free bike share system for our students. You can bring your own bikes and scooters, but it's a really nice campus to walk as well. We have everything on our campus that you would think of when you think of a traditional college campus. So everything from multiple residential life quads to our beautiful football stadium and our arena. We do have Division I sports, which I'll get into. So going to games, we have a performing arts center, multiple art galleries. We have multiple student unions and student spaces and libraries. But on the other side of campus, we also have Stony Brook University Hospital, which is a level 1 trauma center and the largest hospital on Long Island, which makes it really convenient for those of you who may be interested in the health world. Now, we do have over 200 different academic programs to choose from. They really vary, but the university itself is made up of different colleges and schools throughout the university. College of Arts and Sciences has everything like what it sounds like. Our actual art programs like art history, studio art, music, creative writing. We also have 2 filmmaking minors and a theater minor. It's also got your general education or liberal arts, things like anthropology, gender, women's and sexuality studies, Africana studies, Asian studies, and the list kind of goes on and on. Then it has biology, chemistry, psychology, sociology. So this houses most of our majors. Our engineering and applied sciences are all housed within that college. Everything from biomedical, mechanical, civil, engineering science, computer engineering. We also have computer science, which is the most competitive and restrictive major in the university, as well as applied mathematics and statistics and a couple more. This particular college does take higher academic achievements in order to gain consideration, so just keep that in mind. Our College of Business and our School of Journalism each have 1 degree in them. You can kind of think about what they are. Our School of Marine and Atmospheric Sciences is for those of you who want to work in the environment in some way or another. Everything from marine science, marine vertebrate biology, atmospheric sciences, sustainability studies, and a whole lot more. For those of you interested in the health or medical field, we do have our health sciences and a few other degrees through our School of Health Technology and Management, as well as our School of Nursing and School of Social Welfare. Now housed on campus as well as our Renaissance School of Medicine, our medical school, and our School of Dental Medicine as well, which are at the doctorate level. But we have plenty of other master's degree, not just in the health field, but as well as many, many more. Now we are a research institution, so we do pride ourselves in the amount of research our undergraduates get to do. We have a full office that will help you do that. Study abroad opportunities, internships, jobs, careers, shadowing observation. These are all things that our students gain throughout their 4 years, but are mandated to have some sort of experiential learning piece before they graduate, which is a great feature. We do pride ourselves on having over 350 clubs at the moment. We usually have over 450 in a regular semester, not in this kind of virtual world. And a lot of our clubs have to do with our academics, kind of major based. We have Greek life. We have a ton of club sports and intramural sports as well. But some of our cultural clubs I wanted to highlight are here. We pride ourselves on the amount of diversity we have on our campus and the supports that we have in place, not just for ethnic and racial diversity, but for LGBTQIA. We have a women's center, we have a veteran center, we have a center called the Student Accessibility and Support Center for students with disabilities as well. So we really pride ourselves on the support and the celebration of diversity on our campus. Now, for those of you looking to live on campus, it is guaranteed for freshman students, but you don't have to live on campus. You could potentially commute out. We have a ton of students that commute from the city. We had a whole event last night about that for our admitted students. So you do have the option if you want, but it's not a requirement. Now, here is the kind of middle 50% of last year's class. These are not minimums. We don't work with minimums at Stony Brook, but this gives you a sense of all the different ways of students coming in through the different doors of Stony Brook, whether it be general admission, EOP admission, or transfer admissions. Now, just one last thing before I conclude is our tuition. New York State residents pay $7,070 per year. Now, all these figures are for any financial aid or scholarships, and we review for that automatically. So, it just gives you a sense of how affordable our campus is. I'm here for you. I'm going to put some stuff in the chat, and we'll be answering questions in the Q&A. Thanks, everybody.
Great, thank you very much. And next up is Rice University.
I apologize. I've lost myself. So actually there were too many windows open. So I am going to try sharing my screen again now that I can see myself and see if you can see me as well as the presentation. So my name is Tamara Seiler. I am Deputy Director of Admission and Specialty in Access and Inclusion at Rice University. We're in Houston, Texas. So this first screen should hopefully give you an idea of our neighborhood. We're in the middle of the fourth largest city, adjacent to the world's largest comprehensive medical center. Our campus is 300 acres of beautiful green space surrounded by the city. We're adjacent to the world's largest comprehensive medical center. So you're going to have all the advantages of being in a major metropolitan area, but a traditional campus. Our campus is home to 4,000 undergraduates, about 3,000 graduate students. Our median class size is 14, student to faculty ratio 6:1. We have 7 divisions of study. So this slide will need to be updated. We have architecture, engineering, humanities, music, natural sciences, social sciences, and we just recently added a business major. So business will be our 7th undergraduate school of study. And among these schools, we have 52 majors and about 27 minors. At Rice, we don't have a core curriculum. So what we have in place is called a flexible distribution. So before you graduate, all students have to take at least 3 courses in the humanities, 3 courses in the social sciences, 3 courses in the applied sciences, and a writing course. And beyond that, really, you can focus on your major requirements. And because of that, about 40% of Rice students are able to actually have more than one major. And you'll work with academic advising to make sure that you're able to still possibly accomplish all of this in a 4-year time frame. In terms of the academic experience there at Rice, we, as a comprehensive research university, we are very focused on making sure that our students have that process of discovery. And as a top tier research university, we had about $125 million in sponsored research funding each year. Across all areas of study, about 68% of our students participate in research. That would probably be higher for some of our STEM-oriented areas. In addition to that, we feel like practical experience is great. So 90% of our students will intern while they're at Rice, utilizing both the city of Houston, but also we can place you all over the world in terms of internships during the summer months. And you will be studying with the best minds, some of the best minds in the world. And this is just a few of the accolades that our faculty hold. And all of them are teaching undergraduates. In fact, Rice was founded as an institution that was focused on undergraduate education. Now, the real hallmark, in addition to being all of the academic experiences that you can have, is the sense of community. And Rice has what's called our community of care. And we really want to make sure that students feel that their community is just as nurturing and welcoming as the academic experience. So our campus, Rice, has been noticed by the Princeton Review for over a decade for #1 for race and class interaction. We also have our #1 for best quality of life. And part of that, in terms of our overarching diversity, you can see this. We actually let students be recognized in all of their identities. And so you'll actually see that our ethnicity will add up to more than 100%. And our geography, we have lots of students from out of state. So yes, we have a lot of students from Texas, but Texas is a very large state, and pretty much if you travel in any direction, 300 miles, you're still going to be in Texas. We have our residential college system, and so you'll be automatically assigned to one of those residential colleges when you come in as a new student, and that automatically gives you kind of a sense of home immediately. So if you're coming from New York and you have an idea that you might not be really welcomed on campus, this gives you an automatic community that you're immediately part of. But beyond the residential colleges, we have 300 clubs and organizations, diverse organizations that allow students to celebrate arts and sports and music. We are an NCAA Division 1A school as well. That makes us a little different than a lot of research universities. And in terms of support, you'll get it from all different sectors at Rice. We are very committed to the idea of elevating diversity and the voices of all of our students. And at every turn, you're going to have opportunities to be supported in any identity that you express at Rice. And of course, again, with Houston, we're the 4th largest city in the United States. And you have all the resources. They're home to about 25 different Fortune 500 company headquarters. We are the most ethnically diverse city in the United States, and that plays off in so many different opportunities, including our food scene, which we have 10,000 restaurants in and around the city of Houston. And outcomes for Rice are something to celebrate. So we have lots of employers who come to campus. We still maintained that presence in the virtual zone. Immediately, 35% of students, Rice graduates, to pursue an advanced degree, but many of them will go into work experiences and then go and pursue their advanced degrees. You can see the research and the internships, and 75% of our students will graduate debt-free. And part of that is because of the Rice investment, which is a tuition-based opportunity. And as you can see, at $65,000 and below, all costs are covered by Rice. We're also a school, an original partner with the Quest Bridge program. And I think my time is growing short, and I'm happy to answer any more questions. I will put the information in the chat. And if you want to learn more, go to admission.rice.edu. Thanks.
Great, thank you so much. And so that concludes our presentations. I'd invite all of our presenters to come back on camera for a brief Q&A, and I'll ask them to respond to this question: what advice would you give someone going through the college search process? And I'll invite them to respond in the same order that they presented. So we'll start with Hunter College.
Hi, some advice I would give for students is probably the way that I went about researching college, because it depends from person to person, but I would always look at the majors that the colleges had to offer for the schools that I was interested in. So I would go from there first. If they didn't have something that I didn't like, I wouldn't, like, quote unquote, waste my time on researching other sorts of stuff that they have to offer or admissions requirements. So that's something that I would do first, and just look at the majors that they have to offer.
Yeah, that is a great point about research. I would also strongly suggest figuring out what kind of research or how it's best for you to learn about schools. You may really enjoy coming to sessions like this and hearing from real people. Websites might be great for you, social media, or materials, college newspapers may be really good resources for you, but figure out how you find that you're best connecting with schools and be flexible as you're going about those. Also, really want to shout out folks, especially right now, there is a lot of other stuff going on. So if you are here, you're thinking about researching schools, you are already putting yourself in such a great position, and keep that in mind.
Awesome. Yeah. So I hope the students see this portion of our answers kind of as a scaffold, right? So like take everyone's advice and build on it. So my advice to the young people in the Zoom space is to start kind of either writing down or articulating out loud, maybe in a voice memo, voice note, however you kind of process. What's the college story you're telling yourself? We do this really great workshop here with our students about what story are you like mining, right? And then from that story, you can take out what values you're actually searching for when you tell your college story out loud or you write it down. And then try to find schools that align with the story you want to create for your college. That kind of will really help you whittle down a list and make sense and put you back in the driver's seat of this experience.
I think am I next? All right, so my advice that is kind of ties into that, but find out what you have a passion for, and find out what you want your end career to be, and then that'll really kind of shape what you do moving forward as far as finding what university you want to attend. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Finding out what you have a passion for.
I also always suggest coming at this from a little bit of a realistic point of view as well. Start having those awkward conversations with your parents or family supporters to figure out what the best decision for you and your family is. We know this is your education, and that's the most important, is that you get to do whatever you want to do. But from a realistic point of view, if your family is going to be assisting you and helping you cover payments, in getting you to and from campus, just have that awkward conversation. Now's the time to start learning about how much tuition is at all these places, what the realistic sense of paying for some schools. If you're going to be living on campus, that's always an added expense as well. So have that conversation now, because you would not believe how many students accept our offer of admission, and in the summer they find out what their bill is, and then they have no idea what are the options to help pay for school. So come in knowing it right off the bat, and you're going to be set really, really well.
I would say definitely you need to think about, and I think Naomi at Columbia had a slide about it, a full affordability. I mean, I think it's not tuition and the costs are one thing, but what are all the resources that are available at a school to make sure that you have the same student experience as everyone else on campus, especially if you are from a low income background. I would also say always think about the 4-year experience, not just the first year, because a lot of times I know I was a first generation, low income, first generation student. And my first year I got money back. And then subsequent years, I still got my costs paid for, but you're never typically going to get as much as you do the first year. And I would also say, make sure if you're uncertain of your major, just go someplace where you could change your mind, and they're always going to have what you want without you having to transfer.
Excellent. Thank you all so much. So we are just about out of time for this session. So I do want to say a big thank you to all of our presenters for taking the time to be with us this morning and share such wonderful information about your institutions and some general advice as well. And thank you to our attendees for joining us. When you close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We do appreciate any feedback that you can provide, and a reminder to sign up for more sessions that are happening as part of this college fair over the next couple of hours. And in about a week, you'll be able to find a recording from this session as well as others at strivescan.com/urban assembly. So thank you all so much, and enjoy the rest of your day.